But I like the characters enough, or at least I like the appearance of the characters enough, that it was worth it for me to get these. Moving on. Take two. Click. I was just covering up the label because reasons and things and stuff, and I think I inhaled a bit too much fumes. Usually when I clean the bathroom, the fan is turned on because I don't like the chemical smells, because, you know, sensitive hearing and sensitive smelling go hand in hand. So anyways, this is also why I don't smoke anything. I don't snort, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't shoot up, I don't do anything like that. So anyways, I got this on last Friday, or this previous Friday. Wasn't in the mood. So, like I said, I've been dealing with some personal issues the last few days, so, which is why I'm making this video. A really, really long video. So it's out there on Friday. Saturday, I went with my dad to a local regional chapter hobby model show, whatever it was. I took photographs, but they turned out kind of weird, so I'm not certain if I can use them. There isn't really enough there for a summary. The guy had a really amazing, one model had a really amazing, it was like a 6 foot by 3 foot diorama of the Death Star 2, covered with TIE fighters and the Millennium Falcon and X-Wing fighters and an A-Wing fighter in scale with each other, and it actually had that vertical pitch over, that, you know, where they actually fly into the Death Star 2. And so, like, it was this huge, like, 3 foot opening, because the whole thing took up a giant table. And there was actually an A-Wing that had already gone in, and there was an X-Wing that had already gone in, and there was an A-Wing that was on its way, and the Falcon is right behind it. And I'm like, wow! Clearly the show stopper and show stealer, it was pretty damn amazing. Lost my train of thought. So yeah, I've been sitting on oh yeah, that was on Saturday, and then Sunday, yesterday, I had work, so I didn't have the energy for it then. So this has been waiting for a few days. Let's get to it. Box is like really beat up. I don't know what's going on here. Even the bottom isn't sealed properly. I don't know what's going on. This is the now second time, I believe. I can't think of the first time, but this is the second time I've ordered from tfsource.com for all your Transformers needs and third-party needs too. Wow, there's a lot of packaging in here. Oh, perfect. Oh, okay, so that answers that question. All right. What was I doing in 2016 that I didn't get any, what were they called, Combiner Wars? What was I thinking? Oh, you know what it was? I was saving up for a new computer. The computer that I'm editing this video on, for example. Yeah, I was saving up. What else was I doing? What else was happening? 2016. Anyways, I've been kicking myself for 2 years that I wasn't able to get any Combiner Wars whatsoever. Like, I've wanted big combiners because, you know, raised on Super Sentai and Power Rangers for decades. Transformers finally plays catch up, and I skipped all of it. It made me sick. And yes, I've seen them on the shelves plenty of times. I just didn't follow through. Until 2 years after the fact, where I got a complete set. There's a repaint of this guy right there. I forgot. Oh well. Now I've got two. Computron. Yes. I'm not going to mention the fact that Combiner Wars was made up of primarily a bunch of repaints and remolds. Because every single figure on here, I think with the exception of Lightspeed, is he still called Lightspeed? He's called Afterburner now. Because apparently Lightspeed is difficult to copyright for a character name. Maybe Lightspeed Rescue. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Maybe that's why they couldn't use it. So they call him Afterbreaker now. Of all the combiner robots, Computron is the most successful at merging the different personalities of his component bots. Computron processes input from each of the Technobots and evaluates all possible outcomes to identify the perfect plan of attack. He's never wrong, but he's rarely fast. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Combiner Wars was a lot of remolds and repaints, which was a huge complaint. I mean, they pulled it off, but there was a lot of complaining, and you know, to be fair, a lot of it was deserved. They had to stretch a lot of molds. Like, how many times has this jet fighter been used? How many times was this tank used? How many times was this car used? They were used quite a few times. But I want to say Afterbreaker. I'm always going to call him Lightspeed. I think he's called Lightspeed. Maybe he's called Quicksilver. This might be brand new mold for this particular version. Although I'm fairly certain there were motorcycles, right? Motorcycles in Combiner Wars? I could have sworn there were. You can't do Defensor and not have, what was he called, Red Alert? I think was that the motorcycle, the police motorcycle, or was it Prowl? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, and then the torso is a remold of Silverbolt. Scattershot is a remold of Silverbolt. I actually have some history with Computron. I actually, one of my childhood friends, in my childhood, one of my friends during childhood, he had Computron, and he grew out of Transformers, and he sold it at a garage sale that my parents were holding, and I got to play around with it, and then it got sold, and I didn't have the money to buy it at the time, so whatever. And then I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, for a discounted $190, I got my own G1 Computron. So yay, finally got it, and it's actually been sitting in the thing there for quite a while now. So yes, the original and the new. We'll see how it stacks up. I don't know if they've done Computron again. Whoa. Friction. I think it's a short handle. So yeah, I got the original. So this is actually a unique opportunity for me to compare and contrast, because I don't have a lot of G1 figures. This is the last G1 figure, like original G1 figure that's not a remake, that I've gotten. So yeah, and before this was actually Generations 2. Well, was it Generations 2? Oh, Piranacon in 2011. I got the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Piranacon. But that was a reissue. But it's still G1. Gosh darn it. So yeah, okay, so yeah. And then before Piranacon might have been G2. So yeah. I still like this design. And no, I don't remember the original names, but I think my favorite out of the batch, aside from the triple changing Scattershot in the center, which was a really nice one. This is generic, one size fits all, don't care. I don't even remember what he's called. And then there's the drill tank, which had balancing issues. Generic one size fits all car. Anyways, and I think the motorcycle, was called Lightspeed. I could be wrong. The motorcycle, believe it or not, of the 5 figures, the motorcycle is my favorite, just because it's so weird. It's so, you know, it's a motorcycle with a cover on it. You know, you don't get those very often. You get them in Europe, but you don't get them in the U.S. So, like, he was kind of sort of my favorite out of the 5. And yes, before you ask, where is it? Here they are. The reason it was so expensive is because it came with all the accessories and the instructions, but not necessarily the the boxes. So $190, yeah, but I did get it on a discount. I want to say my Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Jetfire that I was bemoaning and bemoaning about for so long. Beloaning, what was that word? I screwed up the joke. Actually went towards this. So yeah, I think it was a good exchange. There were a couple of other things I threw in at the same time, but yeah, I actually sold some stuff in order to get this. So even though it was sold for $190, I actually got a discount on some of it because trade or buy, sell, trade. So yeah, you and Computron, yay! Still treasured. We'll see how this stacks up. Almost like the head on that guy better. He's called Scrounge, by the way. Legends class Scrounge. Oh. Lightspeed? Really? Lightspeed? You couldn't say Lightspeed, you had to go with Lightspeed? Why? Scattershot, Afterbreaker, Strafe. Maybe it was called Afterburner. Like, I didn't have it for so long I didn't remember the names, so I researched the names afterwards and then I probably forgot about the names again, so yeah. What was I so tied up in 2016 that I couldn't get any combiners? I wanted Defensor, I wanted Menasor, I wanted Computron, which was actually Lightwave, I'd like to point out. Who else? I wasn't so hot and bothered about Menasor and what's the other? I intentionally skipped Devastator. I didn't like the new version. I've got G2 Devastator, but holy moly! But I didn't want. Oh, I hope these aren't decals. Well, maybe they're instructions. How do I open this? Instructions, collecting card, and a poster. Cool. Nice. That might actually be worth hanging up. You know, if I can't display them on a shelf, then at least I'll have the proof that I purchased it. The instructions. Okay. Titans Returns. What was my big complaint about Titans Returns? You couldn't fucking read the instructions, regardless of how big or how small they were. And, okay, so, yes, this is what I wanted. And apparently they prototyped it here with Combiner Wars. These are, who is Cybax? Cybax? Who's, oh, does Scrounge come with a minicon? That'd be cool if he did. I don't know. Apparently the Legends class figure comes with a minicon. Sweet. The minicon that didn't, or was originally included with Cosmos, but didn't come with the Titans Returns reissue of Cosmos. So now it turns out I actually have one. Yay. Collector's, this is, no stats, no bio, no nothing. It's just Transformers Generation. It's a collector's card. This was printed in 2015, which means it was released in 2016. Okay. There we go. That's nice. They gave us an envelope with that stuff in it. Nice. So it didn't get bent. I'm getting a little ahead, but what's his name? Strafe. His guns? That looks kind of nice. They're actually painted because they're molded in neon green, or they're molded in trans green. Okay. This is my first experience with Combiner Wars. I don't have any other Combiner Wars figures whatsoever. This is my first experience with it. So it's been new for 2 years. It's brand new for me in 2018. Please forgive my ignorance. Motorcycle looks great. Oh, I forgot these are all deluxes. I'm so used to G1 sizes where they're all essentially Scout class and a single deluxe in the center. That now looking at them all as deluxes and a Voyager that looks really nice, by the way, I'd like to point out. It's kind of like, whoa. It's like my childhood never shrank down as I got older, you know? They painted the guns and then I have to use scissors in order to get them out. Why wouldn't you just mold them? Like Strafe is already molded in the proper colors. Why wouldn't they just mold that? Apparently the motorcycle Afterburner, I could have sworn it was like Afterburner or something like that. Apparently the motorcycle's cockpit had priority in terms of the transparent color you had available. Oh, what was the other one? Megatronia, which is the Takara Tomy repaint of... Oh, what was she called? I can't think of what the... I was thinking of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to bring up. And then I promptly forgot the name of her. What's the name of the frickin' female Transformer? Or Combiner. Not Kabuki-faced, what's her name? Not Wingblade or whatever it is. They totally screwed that up. Oh, what was it called? I don't remember. I suddenly don't remember. Because it was Unite Warriors Megatronia. What was she? Oh, Victorian. Victoriania? Victorian? That's what she was called. I didn't like the color scheme, and it didn't look very female. Like, you can put brand new faces on them, whatever, but just wasn't feeling the female out of that character. So like, not worth it. Your guns can go, wow, 3 different places in vehicle mode. They can go under the wings, or they can go on the side of the arms, or they can fit in the hands. Cool. So here we have Strafe. Almost screwed up that name again. Here we have Strafe, looking very much like he's got a robot sitting on the bottom. Shut up. And looking as Strafe does. Pretty close. Maybe I should take that apart so I can compare them. But considering how old it is, I kind of don't want to risk the combination joints. So the technically diagonal stabilizers are made of PVC. But oddly, the guns are not made of PVC, probably so they don't droop. So they do or don't go in there. Let's see, it doesn't really matter, I think. Okay, let's do it. Before Combiner Wars came out, I was one of many people who was like, you know, I hope that they can get away from making Scout class limbs and then a deluxe sized, a deluxe sized, what's the word I'm looking for? I know it folds back. How? Okay. A deluxe sized torso. I was hoping they kind of evolve away from that, make them bigger. They're supposed to be a standout. They're not supposed to stand the same height as Optimus Prime, you know. I was hoping they would eventually move away from that, because, like, I want 12-inch Transformers, you know? 12-inch combiners. Dude, that's nice. I like that. Swivels, ball joints. No ratchets, just because of his size. Oh! There's a tiny ratchet in his elbow. And there's no ratchet in that elbow. It was always intended to be ratcheting. I don't know. Strafe don't ratchet. Strafe burn. Waist swivel? He's got a waist swivel. That may be part of the combiner thing, but cool. And little moon boots. Oh, he's having trouble with this. There and that and there. Okay. Cool. I like it. So we're just supposed to hang on to these, or do they actually go somewhere? It's molded in a fist, by the way. It's not the whatchamacallit, where they had these kind of weapon pods where like it had like 2 fingers and maybe a thumb, and the fingers would fold over. So you could either treat it as a foot, or you could fold the fingers over and, oh look, all of a sudden it's a fist. That's not the case with Computron. He's actually dedicated molded fists that don't open, I'd like to point out. Here's something Here's something interesting. You know the typical Transformer hand, it's a cube with a hole running through the middle of it? Well, it's the exact same thing here. The fingers don't move. There's a hole for sticking weapons in it, and then just beyond it is a hole for where the fingers curl around. Like, what's the point? Why not just move the hole over, or make the hole go all the way through, or, you know, get rid of this hole right here and just let that one be the one that holds it, you know? Clearly not meant to be used in robot mode. This I'm okay with. A lot of paint on this guy. Scratching's gonna be real. You just plug it in his back there. Why not? Oh, so there's a couple options. You can actually plug him into the sides of his arms, which I'm always a fan of, or you can hold it in his hands. See, pegs on the outside, pegs on the outside. Oh, so that's why the pegs are not painted. So strafe. It's a nice ball joint head. A very tiny Autobot logo. Correction, there are two more on his wings. Like this. I like this. I like this much. Yay. Cool. I like it. That's a nice motorcycle. I don't motorcycle very often. Actually, I don't have a motorcycle. And it comes with a little kickstand in the one arm. That's cute, I guess. I want to say that the last motorcycle I got might have been animated Prowl. I don't get Transformer motorcycles very often. With the exception of what's his name that I totally can't remember from G1. Does this guy come with any weapons? Weapons, weapons, weapons. 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 Are they buried in here? I doubt it. Where are his guns? Hello. I went right to Strafe, so I don't know why. Maybe Strafe carries them? Nope. Ah. Didn't come with any weapons. How strange is this? He gets that. He gets... Oh! No. Wait. Strafe doesn't use any weapons? What? Huh? I'm confused. Looks like Afterbreaker gets these, I guess? Maybe that's why they're molded in green. Because the pictures I'm seeing here don't match the picture. Okay then. Maybe they, like, changed the design of the gun at some point. Because the weapons that are pictured here do not match this. Apparently Strafe doesn't have any guns, so I might have messed up with that. But yeah, Afterbreaker is definitely shown with a pair of guns, but they just don't match this. So I don't know what to say. Ooh, that elbow swivel is really tight. That's because it's fresh from the factory and 2 years old. So the paint has had time to settle in. Ah, light piping. So his guns have disappeared. Yeah. Yeah, I think they redesigned his guns at some point. Because that one has a really long barrel, but that one doesn't. That one doesn't look anything like it. So yeah, I think they redesigned his guns at some point. Oh well. Point is, he's the one who gets them. Strafe does not. Right, Strafe? Yeah. Boy, that elbow swivel is really tight. The bulge-jointed hips are going to die first chance they get. Welcome to Combiner Wars 2015, Ava. Now you understand what all the rest of us were bemoaning about. You know, dual pistols, dual small rifle. Sounds cool. Apparently called Afterbreaker because, there we go. It's almost 1 and I need to eat. Blech. It's oftentimes difficult if you want to put posability into a figure that combines, and is a combiner limb or something like that. It also depends on the size of the figure. It can make things complicated, and oftentimes it can ruin the combined form in terms of structural strength, not just of the overall figure, but of the individual figures as well, the individual components. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well these things transition between individual figure with its individual joints and transformation parts versus the combined form of Computron. I'm looking forward to this. I like it. I think I need to go eat. Oh, that was a very unhealthy lunch I just had. Goddamn, did it taste good. Alright, what am I doing? Lightspeed. If I slip into Lightspeed, forgive me, because who the hell says Lightspeed? Who says that? And the answer is, I don't think anyone does. Well, there is a shotgun here, but I don't know who it belongs to. Presumably it belongs to Lightspeed. You know, I feel like I'm saying English. Lightspeed versus Lightspeed. You know, I feel like I'm saying English. And I don't do English very. Oh, I do English all the time. It's English that throws me off. So. Oh, it's a triple barrel shotgun. Sick. But it was next to him, so I guess it belongs to him. I don't know. Okay, you can't tell me that's not police lights or, you know, emergency lights of some kind. Come on. You're going to remold everything else, including the head possibly, but you're not going to remold that detail? Did all of this, like, this might be one of the most regularly repainted figures in all of Combiner Wars. So, whatever. But that being said, they couldn't remold that, I guess, for some reason. Still, nice car. Good old chest plate folds over for the transformation, just to give a little more clearance underneath. You know, it's just that millimeter, but it's apparently enough. That's apparently a thing. This was a thing. Oh, paint scratch. Grr. No, that's not a paint scratch, that's a mispaint. Okay. The knee was not quite what I thought it was going to be. So is that a triple barrel shotgun? No, it's not. And here it is again. Nobody's holding it. Who gets which weapon? I'm curious now. Who gets which weapon? It's not like I need the instructions right now anyways. Who gets which weapon? Alright. Yeah, that's what I thought. Lightspeed, Steed, he does get the shotgun. Alright. Triple barrel shotgun, by the way, with a scope on it. Targeting sensor. That's been painted black as opposed to being molded in red. Wait. There we go. Better. Knees were bending in the wrong direction. Because bias against chicken walkers. On the other hand, his feet are mighty tiny. And I kind of like his little... He's almost chubby. Almost. For a guy named Lightspeed, yeah, kind of like this. Arm panels can go get a day job, but... you know, I can imagine this being a Bumblebee type character. Not Hot Shot, not Hot Rod, but a Bumblebee specifically. This could be a Bumblebee. Not Cliff Jumper either. Cliff Jumper doesn't have the persona. Like this could have been a Bumblebee in a different universe. Maybe it still could be. Can I get his arm over to... Nope. Turn the shotgun sideways. Yes, you can. But who shoots shotguns side on? The answer is no one usually. So it's that age-old problem with posable figures, especially toys, of having to get your arm across the chest without just bending the elbow. That's always been each, because if you bend your elbows, you have to get your shoulder across. You have to do this. Figures like these can't do it. That's nothing new, I know, but still. He has a great shrug ability. His shoulders can go up and down just fine. But ball joints kind of take care of that, so. This is what I imagine, like, I know nothing about the character of Lightspeed, but in this alternate reality, if it were repainted yellow Bumblebee, you could have maybe, I don't know, like small but tough kind. Maybe a cranky wise ass or something. Like a taxi driver, maybe. Like maybe his alt form is a taxi, you know. Certainly be better than the muscle and pony cars that we've had thrown at us for the last 11 years. Bayformers is 11 years old, by the way. And God only knows what we're going to be getting for Bumblebee the movie. Probably just the Camaro again, the latest incarnation or whatever. Never been a strong proponent. Like, I am an advocate for Bayformers. I've said this before many times. I'm an advocate for Bayformers, but the pony car was just, that's not Bumblebee. Michael Bay's like, well, I would never do a VW bug. Well, you couldn't do a VW bug because VW wouldn't let you use the bug. And there's no such thing as a cute compact car that people would believe is a badass transformer. Like, can you imagine Bayformer's Bumblebee being a, oh crap, what's it called, a Smart 42? I can. Because that's pretty much what he was back in the 80s, except he was a Volkswagen bug. This guy's a badass. I like him. He's not muscle, but he is badass. I like him. He's cool. Does a single joint Ratchet? Oh, wow, it does. Oh. And a holdover from, let's see, does this work? Will this work? I think it will. hope it does. Oh, that's why they've got the holes on the sides of the fist. Okay. I thought it was just to hold weapons. Turns out it wasn't. There we go. Oh, that means these probably attach to something else like this. I thought you could, like, store these. Oh, okay. Can't set it on him. Well, that's convenient storage. I mean, that's something. That's better than we had in G1. Can't move the fist, but it's a good thing I discovered that. I'll bet you they attached to Scattershot. Betcha. Be kind of nice if they did. Be good weapons storage. I suppose that's the one fault of Combiner Wars is they still were not able to do combiners that didn't have combiner kibble involved. Like having an extra chest piece or a weapon, whatever, or the helmet, whatever. But it's like the feet and the hands. It should be built into the limbs, but they're not. Still haven't quite got there yet. Well, we want to do the scrambled gatai where you can take a leg and stick it in an arm, you can stick it in a leg and stick it in an arm. You know, we want to be able to do that. So you kind of have to do it this way. Oh yeah, well if that's the case, then how can you make independent hands and feet that could transform into a hand or a foot and then included it as a weapon? Answer me that one. We didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. I'm not salty. Not at all. I'm just glad we have deluxe-sized limbs and a Voyager-sized... How the hell do I get that over there without scratching it? And a Voyager-sized torso. That's what I was looking for. That's what we're getting. That's what we got. I'm sorry. This is Power of the Primes era right now. Oh. Hmm? Really? Oh, I see what they... Well, if you want to remake a drill tank, I guess this is how you do it. You have it drive very obviously backwards. Is that a leftover from the original nose cone? No. Because the original, his heels came up here. I'm slightly disappointed by this. I was hoping that, you know, the slanted side would be the front side, but I guess this works too. Still doesn't turn. Oh well. But I suppose the advantage is you can tilt this up and down for maximum drilling effect. And then it's a turret, I guess. I don't know. Looks like a bird, kind of. It's a dodo. It's a kiwi. It's any number of flightless animals with pointed noses. I suppose you could do it this way if you want to get dumb. It's very 1940s laser gun. I would summon the minions of the JSSDF that tried to fend off Godzilla. But, yeah, not yet. The tiniest, one of the tiniest Autobot logos that have been printed on that I've ever seen right there. Good grief, why did they even bother? Unless that's the front of the chest. It could be. Oh, it is. Okay. I looked at the instructions new. This kind of reminds me of, was it Hunt for the Decepticons or whatever it is that came out of Age of Extinction? Or, no, Dark of the Moon, that Guzzle that I've got. Can't think of what he's called. Anyways, it kind of reminds me of that. Kind of. He must be joking. Huh? does that work? What? Huh? I can appreciate them trying to put everything on one set of one sheet of instructions. That's well good, but it's so small, I can't pick out the details. That's his waist? Impossible. It doesn't even snap into position. Oh, there it did. It did. Wow. Okay, so he's got an ab crunch. Wasn't expecting that one. But he's got a very, very, very tiny ab. That can't be right. And I'm not talking aesthetics, I'm talking structurally. That can't be right. Huh. I was not expecting that kind of an ab crunch. Like, ab crunch is all well and good, but what stuns me is how... Huh. I was not expecting that waist transformation. That's totally surprising how they did that. I was not expecting that at all. Wow. And somehow they managed to give this guy independent ankle joints. I like the multi-tube launchers he's got on either side. That's nice. So here's nose cone. He's got this very strange, let's see, can you see it? Yeah. I don't know how well it's going to be lit from the other side. Gosh, if only I had a screen over here that I could look at while I'm filming so I could compare. He's got this diagonal shaped bar that snaps into position, but it's not very supportive. So I'm not certain how many times I can transform that and not have it break. And each figure has its own individual articulation, and the heads are, I'm guessing, fairly close to the original ones. The heads are all covered on that right now, so... It's time to see how close these are. So for Lightspeed, and keep in mind these are just kind of random cubes that they put together, so they're having to recreate that on a deluxe size figure on what is essentially originally a Scout class figure, or at least in the case of G1. It's undefined enough, it's difficult to tell. I suppose it's kind of ironic that his eyes, his nose, and his mouth plate were all painted orange, and then the rest of it is just more orange, or is painted red-ish. And then here, his eyes and his lack of nose and his mouth plate are still painted orange. Like, they didn't even bother painting the eyes a different color or leaving them natural color. It's just, there it is. So... kind of looks like it. I suppose a G1er would be more adequate to answer this question than me. Yeah, there's some, the visor is the right shape. The crown is the right shape. The cheeks are in the right, or the cheek guards are in the right place. I suppose that's an adequate conversion. I suppose that's an adequate conversion for Strafe. I'll give him credit. He's the closest so far. An Afterbreaker, who was originally just silver eyes, silver mouth plate. They gave him transparent green eyes, because I suppose they needed a little bit of variety. Yeah, I suppose an argument can be made. Although the center of his crown, not the outer side, but like the center of his crown, is just some lines that come across, or the center of his forehead. It's like, Oh. Maybe. There's like 4 or 5 lines right down the center of his forehead or whatever it is. But here they decided to make it a little more, dare I say, Decepticon-ish type forehead crown design on Afterbreaker there. So, You know, while I've got it out, I like this guy just because of his unusual transformation and his alt mode. His vehicle mode, wow, that's really tight. I almost broke it. His alt mode is, what? Looks like somebody tried to glue your guns in. Glue your guns in, okay. Here's a little over 30 years difference. His big sleeves, presumably those are guns attached, because he doesn't have any hands. But, still, I liked how the wheels piled up in the back. That was nice. And then his vehicle mode. I don't remember how this is done because I haven't transformed it in a while. And I don't want to break a 30-year-old toy. There. You see, this is what the future of the past was going to look like 30 years ago. I like that. That's neat. And then, you know, obviously you plug the gun in the front here, so, which I have in the baggie, so. Or maybe you plug them into the sides. I think you plug the guns in the sides now I think about it. But anyways, satisfying. They need to redo this guy somehow. And, like, redo as in, like, big fat tires, one in the front. It still needs to be a motorcycle, you know, 2 wheels, and that's it. But, you know, like, go all bat pod and shit on this, but not have an open rider. No open rider. No space for an open rider. Just an enclosed vehicle. I want them to do this again. As a Scout or a Deluxe or something like that. I'd be satisfied. Oh, I forgot he had wheels in his mid-torso. I forgot about that. So the head designs, arguably, they all work. I think it works best on Strafe. So, Strafe? Yeah, Strafe probably has the most accurate. If you want to go G1 accuracy, I'd say Strafe was probably the one who had the most definition that they could actually pick out and then play around with in this form. They all have cube-shaped heads, though, which is kind of nice. Or they ultimately, it's just straight edges, stuff like that.